Okay, it has arrived. Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath. The update is here. Ooh, these new riffs. I think they're new riffs in the music. I don't know. What we're here to talk about today, though, is our boy Fujin here. Our boy Fuji. So FujiTube was the character I was most excited for when Aftermath was coming out. He just looked so swaggy. He looked like he was about to do these combos, pop off on people. However, and even after watching the combat cast, whatever, I had really high hopes for this character and what combo potential he had. I am somehow equally enjoying this character and disappointed with this character at the same time, which is crazy. But before we get into that, obviously, name of the variation, first off, Avatar Aang. This guy is an OG airbender. I love it. Second off, Virgil from DMC5, because look at this. Look at this likeness. Hold on. Can I do a full mode? Look, hold on. Oh, let's raise that camera there, buddy. Let's raise that camera. Look at that. You cannot listen. You can't tell me that's not Virgil. Even the music got hyped because it agreed with me.
Fujin.
And let's work on Fujin. And we're gonna get the degenerate himself. God, this music. All right, so here's the thing, right? Fujin is equally a degenerate as much as he is an honest character, and it's very frustrating. All right, so here's the first thing about him. So when we check out his normals, 7-frame jab, not bad, you know what I'm saying? 11 frames on this. This is a great punish, especially against someone like Scorpion, because I know like the biggest thing. So the reason I always go for Scorpion, right, whenever it comes to practice mode and making sure that a character's moves are actually good, because it's one thing to look at the data and it's another thing to actually test if a character's abilities are actually punishing what the enemy is doing, especially when it comes to online, because online can be a fickle mother effer. So one thing I like to test is how an attack does against Scorpion's teleport. Is one of those attacks online that are very hard to deal with and is a good test for a character's reaction and if they can actually put in the work that you need a character to do. All right, so hold on, this time we're actually gonna block this and then so he's definitely got some fast attacks, and then he's got some that you'd want to be able to punish with but aren't going to be able to get the job done, you know what I'm saying? But so I like to use that as kind of the litmus test. But a lot of his normals, his quick jabs and stuff like that are solid. Here, let me set this dude to calm down mode. Crouching jab, nothing special about it. Down 2, nice, good angle, not much to write home about. Solid anti-air. Down 3, it's pretty solid, nice low profile. The big thing, bop. Look at this, degeneracy, every single hit, disgusting. Ultra low profile, good range. It is 9-framed on the startup. It is absolutely disgusting for that down 4, bro. Like, it is degeneracy at its finest. So you can do some pretty solid mixing up when people start to get a little antsy, go for throws and stuff like that, on top of the usual tick throws that people do in this game, because obviously that's how you play Mortal Kombat 11. So that's just going to be the normal stuff that's going to be going on. But yeah, that's a good move. And on top of that, you have this command normal of his back 4. This one is good too, if you just want to keep mixing in the lows and all that stuff. So we got that kind of covered. And you know, for a lot of his strings, right? A lot of his strings do have pretty solid startup. However, the problem you're gonna run into for a lot of his attacks, let me see here. We'll set him to block. Oh. is that a lot of his attacks, he's gonna be very, very negative on. But in some ways he can get around it, some ways he can't, right? Because you look at an attack like this, right? Minus 14, right? And when you do the full string, it's minus 17. But look how much range, how much distance there is. Now, Scorpion might be able to punish that with a teleport, maybe, maybe not. But most characters generally aren't gonna be able to punish that, so that's kind of safe on block. But then you run into the case of something like that. Minus 7 is okay-ish, but you got a guy who's on his stuff, you might be doomed. You might not be looking too hot. All right, minus 11 on block for that one. Like, a lot of his stuff is crazy unsafe up close. And then you also have to deal with stuff like, let's see here, what else was unsafe? Now this 4 though, this 4 is nice. Whether it's the forward 4 or you're dealing with the regular. Probably not the forward 4 because that's 16 frame, that's pretty slow. The regular 4 on start, 10 frames is a little bit on the slow side, but it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice because it leads into that, and that is plus 6 on block, and it's gonna build you some distance. So most of his other attacks are definitely not gonna end up being safe, which is the unfortunate side of a lot of his combos, right? But in a lot of cases, he can actually end up just working around it in general and just being able to kind of cheese his way out of it, right? Because of that blocking, because of that distance. So he is in equal parts a degenerate because he has stuff mixed in there like, look, that's a high-low right there. Boom. Hit him with the mid, hit him with the overhead. Might go on for the low, might go on for the back 4, that's a low. He eats, sleeps, and breathes lows, right? Like, that is what Fujin does. So really, you could block low all day against this dude, right? And say you don't block the overhead, it's not that big of a deal. But I can tell a good Fujin player is gonna be able to find a way to open you up, bait you into doing different stuff, and then try to punish you that way regardless. When it comes to a lot of his other special attacks, like kicks, obviously, that's a death sentence for the most part. Just depending on how you use it. I wouldn't throw it out there willy-nilly. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't. Yeah, no, that's not the wave, Chief. That's not the wave. But when it comes to his other special attacks that come base for most of his variations, projectile, it's good, but it's not the best. First part's a high. Meter burn it, it's a high if you aim it normally. But then it becomes a... Yeah, why don't I just move closer? That's fine. Becomes a mid when you shoot it up close. And that's the big change about the meter burn version of it. And I will say, because you can get those tricky angles, you can trick shot some people. But here's the thing about it. As nice as it is, bro, you're gonna get outgunned by most people. Dude, you're gonna get outgunned by RoboCop, that's for sure. Like, the zoning wars, you're not one of them. Especially for the fact that if you're trying to close down the space as well, depending on what variation you have, you might be limited on mobility options, right? Not every single one of them is gonna let you fly in the sky. So, that's something you gotta keep in mind, right? Overall, I'd say a lot of his attacks, a lot of his strings are a mixed bag. Sometimes, yes, you do get that space, but sometimes other things are just incredibly unsafe on block. And I think the biggest thing that does to him, like, a lot of injustice, if you will, it's not having a meterless combo starter. Some people are able to use this tornado to get some meterless combos going, but combos that involve this tornado are so technical right now at the moment, and it takes a lot of precision that a lot of people are not going to have, especially when it comes to online in general, and how flimsy, you know, a connection can be, especially when you're battling a Wi-Fi warrior. That I'm not sure if this is going to be able to be a functional B&B for anything that incorporates his anything that's going to incorporate that attack, right? So that kind of ends up being what you see. Except, you know, most people will end up actually landing it. Oh God. and then they'll go into something like the kicks, right? You're getting the main idea of what I'm doing. I'm not very good at it. I played him for like probably 5-6 hours straight. Couldn't really get much out of him in regards to combos, but I see some people are messing around with some other stuff. I really don't think he has that much combo potential. A lot of what he's going to be doing is like an even lighter version of what Jackie is doing, where you want to be frame trapping him, right? You want to be tick throwing him a lot. You want to be mixing him up with lows all the time. You want to be getting in. You want to be controlling space. You want to punish him with this move all the time. Get him in that corner, control the space, make it feel like they cannot breathe, and then use a fast punish to cash in on some damage, right? I feel like that's the way a lot of people are going to be playing Fujin. But I feel like because of that, as compared to how he was marketed and how he was kept, like hyped up in the combat cast, a lot of people aren't going to like him. I feel like a lot of people are going to end up dropping him because they're not going to really enjoy him. Like these kicks, you can only do it so many times before you're like, all right, I'm bored. I'm not really digging this variation anymore, and the stances and all that stuff. I don't know. They're more gimmicky than anything. But a lot of what I've been showing, of course, is that first variation. So let's switch it over. Practice options. Oh God, Tournament 2. Now, I think this is the one I end up preferring more for Fujin. Let me see. Yes. All right. So here's the way I end up preferring to play Fujin. So you're gonna get this attack, so you can counter attacks, and then be able to meter burn it and all that stuff. This is a very high skill move. I'm not gonna lie to you. For people who are smarter than I and can bait people on this stuff, I feel like a really good player who ends up learning how to use this parry properly, oh, he's gonna destroy people online. If you see a person who immediately goes and picks the second variation of Fujin, you need to step away. This man is a degenerate. He's absolutely disgusting. Stay away. He's the next homunculus, the 18th angel. You just need to step away in general. Also with this variation, you're gonna get the sky waka waka waka, which is dope because it lets you moonwalk in the sky forwards, which is totally dope. And then on top of that, he gets this little sword attack. But what I like about it, you get a quick confirm. There we go. There we go. So it is nice in that regard that it is something that you can confirm into. I've seen some people online have been able to make some pretty sweet combos out of this. I don't know how, but they're absolutely insane. And it's pretty sick. So it's definitely worth looking at. I think you get much better just combo potential in general with this, and you get a little bit of just a tad bit of cross-up potential, but not too much in another realm game because, you know, you hold a button to block, not back to block, right? So you can only do so much in that regard. But I think this move does get you a get-out-of-jail-free card for dealing with certain opponents and certain projectiles and certain attacks. But on top of that, yeah, I like being able to easy confirm into this, right? It's pretty sick. But the real reason that I love this variation the most, this sword. Replaces the kicks. You quarter circle back 4, ends up becoming this. We spin the sword. The reason this is so beautiful is because set to block all. All right, so this was unsafe before, right? But it's a nice little hit confirm, right? But it's unsafe as all I don't know what, right? So instead now, hit confirm into that. But you look at it, dang, bro, that's minus 16 on block. Daniel, what are you talking about, Willis? That's even worse. Ah, my friend, you didn't meter burn it, making you -1 on block, making you completely safe because of the spacing as well. This is absolutely fantastic, in my personal opinion. Be able to spin that bar to make yourself safe on block, really, I personally think, opens up his game plan and makes him more confident to move in on people, and he doesn't have to feel so, you know, claustrophobic, you know? Doesn't have to feel so claustrophobic on block. He really gives him a lot more to work with. So, I personally end up preferring this method in general, right? And being able to work with this attack. So yeah, I am losing what little, you know, combo advantage is available because the tornado can't be meter burn, but I'd rather take being able to just style on people, pressure people in general, and then make myself safe when I normally shouldn't instead. To me, that is my #1 preference. Because that way, the oppression session never ends, all right? The oppression session is always going, which I'm always a really big fan of. So, overall, I'd say this is probably my favorite variation. The other variation, I just wasn't really rocking with too much. The idea of it is nice, but in execution, it's not too great. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So we'll go to tournament 3. And yeah, because I mean, I did a lot of sparring with my friend. I did like about a close 3 hours straight session with my best friend Pete. He's an absolute degenerate of a Scorpion player. So, you know, I was battling Scorpion, ended up battling Shiva, RoboCop, you know, other characters with Fujin, getting this nice little variation to see and experiment of how he handles different matchups and different playstyles, right? #1 thing is he doesn't like people being in his face, right? And he doesn't have too many tools to deal with it. And I think with the third variation, that does not get much better because, yeah, he ends up having this. Yeah, so he ends up getting this, right? Very fast. Very, very fast. Projectile. It has a crushing blow if you do them all in sequential order. The close, medium, far, and then it ends up going into a crushing blow. But on top of that, you're also in this third variation going to get the... Oop. No, that's fine. Get the ability to stab the dude after you do that, which does give you more damage, and this is a great punishing tool for battling up against a lot of people. But honestly, I personally don't think you get too much out of it. I'd say the big shining star about this variation is going to be that move. Because your combo potential goes up greatly when dealing with this move, right? Let's not have me get hit, right? I mean, dude, look, they're up there for days, and if I was actually a skilled player, I could probably actually figure out a follow-up after that. Scorpion, shut up. No one needs you to talk anymore. But yeah, so overall, I'm not too pressed by this variation. I think there is a lot you can do with zoning people out and then try to force them to move in. And then when you get too close, bop, hit them with the air slam. Only problem with that though, right, is that the first attack does 0 damage because of how fast it is. So in order to get damage out of it, you have to meter burn it, right? So it's a nice pestering tool, but is it effective? No, because I tried this variation against RoboCop's second variation where he had all guns, and let's just say I didn't have fun. I did not have fun at all whatsoever. So he easily gets outgunned, outmanned, all that sort of stuff. So overall opinions, first impressions thus far of Fujin, I still really like him, but I'm still disappointed. I would love for him to actually have more combo potential, especially if we had more meterless starter combos, you know, the same way that characters like Cassie has, like Sonya Blade has, like Joker has, like Spawn has, even RoboCop, where they just have, you know, inputs like that, right? And then like something like that will launch the enemy up in the air, and then they can get a combo going. But unfortunately, we don't get that with Fujin, and you have to make work with what you got. But hopefully, as the community keeps on doing some crazy stuff, they will keep on figuring out some crazy tech for us to dive into, which would be totally wicked and totally cool. So overall, I still like him. I'm still going to be playing with him a lot more in the future. I still think he's a really dope character that has a lot of potential, but regardless, I still wish he was able to do a little bit more combo wise. But my god, the dude is so saucy. He's so saucy. How could you not like him? He's so saucy. But with that being said, guys, yeah, that's my overall thoughts on Fujin. Pretty overall solid frame data. I like that in the second variation he can make it safe, which is always beautiful. And I think he does have a lot of potential, but I think a lot of casual people are going to drop him after the first week because they realize he's not going to do a lot of flashy stuff that characters like Shiva and RoboCop are actually capable of. So, ooh, that water is so good. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts on Fujin in the comment section down below, or the things I didn't cover. Comment on that you think I should have, that help give it overall better opinion. Oh, Jesus, slap the heck out of this mic. Give an overall opinion on this character, or what do you think of his overall potential? You know, it's very early, but that's the thing about when a fighting game has been out for a while. You're very quickly able to see certain elements of what makes a character great in that fighting game, right? Be able to see those different things that people immediately have, and you're like, oh, this guy's really strong. Like Joker. Joker just had a whole bunch of stuff, and you're like, this guy, automatically top of the pack. Fujin, not so much top of the pack, but a lot of potential. All right, and that's where it's sitting. That's where it's standing. Okay, okay, okay. With that being said, guys, if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're new here, subscribe to become a part of the GeekSpeakNation. And yeah, no promises. We'll see about me getting back on a consistent basis. We'll see how it goes. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'm Daniel, and don't forget to get geeky.